guys, this is Eric with Perry Hill Farms. A viewer requested this video, and what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you how I debone a rabbit. And that's not necessarily the only way, but I'm just going to show you the way I do it. And I'm going to show you what I do, or what I'm going to do with the rabbit today. Now, generally, when I'm deboning rabbit, I will have butchered. I usually try to butcher about 10. You know, my hopes is to have 1 or 2 litters that equal up to 10 or 12 rabbits. And that way, when I get I usually just debone the hind legs and the back straps and the belly meat off the rabbit and cut it up and put it in jars boneless, you know, which makes it easy to make a quick meal with. But so that's, and normally the reason I do that, I get about 9 pints of boneless rabbit meat out of the 10 or 12 rabbits to, you know, to help you have a canner full. You know, my canner holds, well, one level it holds 9 pints, but it'll hold 18 pints if you double stack them, or 7 quarts, you know. But about 10 to 12 rabbits, I do 9 pints of boneless meat, and I'll show you, you'll have the front legs left also most of the time, and about half and half, you know. Sometimes I'll make broth with the front legs and pick the meat off of them and use them for a dish like that night, or I'll can the front legs, bone and all, bone in, and just save them, you know, when you can them and all the meat comes off of them real easy, and all makes it easy to just dump the jar out, pull the meat off the bone, make like chicken and rice, or rabbit and rice, or rabbit alfredo, or chicken alfredo, whichever one they interchange on any dish. At least we do, you know. But anyway, I'll get my wife, she's filming for me, and I'll get her to show you the rabbit. And we had one and that we needed to butcher and or process, however you want to say it. And I have him right here. All right, here's the rabbit, and you can see he's skint and gutted. I didn't completely finish the job, so this is the way a lot of chefs will do it. I wanted to show you. I did take the gallbladder off the liver, but you can take your liver out, and the 2 kidneys. You can eat those.
Look at those.
Some people feed them to their dog. You know, of course we have somebody patiently waiting. And same way with the. We'll go in here and pull the lungs. And the heart out, and you can see right here that take that that heart out of the sack, which had a little blood left over. That's okay, you know. We just tidy that up a little bit. Now, but you got the liver, the heart, the 2 kidneys. I never eat the lungs, but a lot of butchers will leave the lungs.
Oh, those are little. If
your lungs are spotted, then the rabbit has some sort of illness, but these are pretty and clear, clean.
Show them close up.
Yeah.
There's no spots on there or anything.
No spots, are pretty, and that's another one of the big reasons that you can raise your rabbits on wire. Keep them off the ground, you almost completely eliminate disease, you know, by raising them, keep them from being in contact. Like I said, there's several ways you can go about this, and get a big knife over here, and the rabbit's got 2 front legs, 2 hind legs. He's got the belly meat. He has 2 little tenderloins right here, and then flip him over, and he has just trimmed this fat off where you can see a little better. But he has two back straps that run all the way the length of his body. And you know, your last resort here when you're doing whatever you do with your meat, like me, I don't know if you noticed right there or could see that I missed a few hairs, you know, and I use it, you know, right now's the time to completely get your meat cleaned up. And it's another part of the lung. Like I said, you know, Colonel, he likes the kidneys, and I usually save the heart and the liver, and I like those fried. When you kill 10 or 12, then you can have liver one night.
Let it be said, I don't eat the hearts or the livers.
That's okay. Not everybody does, but like I said, that's okay. And but first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put the rabbit on his back. And to me, the easiest thing to do is I'm going to cut the two front legs off. And the best way I can explain to do that is just like the bends of your arms is where you want to make your cut. Just cut, and the shoulder should separate completely off, just like that.
Oh, the joint? Where's the joint at?
There's not a joint in the shoulder. It's connected by cartilage.
Oh.
You know, so you don't have a like the hip joint in the back. I'm going to turn it around. Hopefully you can see it again. I'm going to try to move my hand out of the way.
Right next to the rib cage.
Right. But you can see right there, there's no joint. You know, just take that shoulder, cut it all the way off. And like I said, I can these whole like this, bone in sometimes, and sometimes I'll take a minute, and I'll show you in just a minute. I'll take a minute and get some of the meat off the bone. This particular rabbit, I was thinking about doing some stir fry. And so anyway, let me show you right here. Take your knife, as best you can. I'm going to cut this belly meat off.
You just let the knife run down next to the ribs like that, right?
Next to the rib cage.
As you're pulling it away.
As you're pulling your way. This is the belly meat. Or if this was on a hog, this would be your side of bacon. You know, just the sheer size of it as compared to the hog. You know, but this is your side of bacon off of a rabbit. Now some people use these for, they'll take them and make jerky out of them. And that's perfectly fine to do. And right here I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just come right down on my rib cage and just pull those sides of bacon off. Rabbit bacon, that is. All right, next I'm going to pull, there's two little kidney muscles is what they are. Clean up anything. I always tell people when I'm talking about what I'm butchering, anything that doesn't look desirable to you, just cut it off, throw it away. It is, you know. And those two little tenderloins are not very big, and they're the kidney muscles. I'm gonna lay them right here. Here again, they'll just about fall off. Your rabbit's young, so the meat's very tender. And right here is the brisket, just a little extra meat. I'm gonna take off and lay right there, and I'll show you in a minute what I'm gonna do with it. You know, but right now is a good time. Take the hind legs off. I'll try and show you best I can. There's a hip joint right there. Ball and socket on the hip joint, and you just work your knife in that and release that hip bone from the backbone, and that's how you take your hind leg off. Okay? Lay it over here with the front legs.
Stalker over there.
And try and show you again, just very simply Nothing difficult about this. Gently, you can put a little pressure on the
Point
legs.
to the ball right there.
See the ball kind of pop out of joint there, which is what you're aiming for. Just run your knife along the edge of the backbone. You can put some pressure on it, but you just want to get that hip bone to release out of that socket. Try and get as much as you meet. Leave it on your hind legs you can. Got them laying over there now. Right here, you're going to have some, for lack of a better term, well, it's actually the fascia, or the underneath skin, the layer of skin underneath the skin, if that makes sense to you.
Is that it too there?
Yes, that's some of it. But some of it will come off easy and some of it won't. But I usually, on a deer, we call this the silver skin. And it's just a little chewy, not too bad, but you can take that off. I usually just, feed it to the dog. He'll eat it. Waste not, want not. He's got to eat too. Dog food's high. Save a little money. But right here, you got the rabbit's backbone all the way up. So you have muscle on each side of the backbone. I'm taking my knife and running it on either side of the backbone, all the way from the head to the tail. You see this? I'm gonna take that meat, and best I can, I'm gonna work my knife in there. Try not to cut yourself. I'm gonna turn it around where it's a little more convenient to me. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of angling my knife as I cut toward the rib cage, just like I'm gonna peel it off. So once I get that started, you can see I'm hitting the ribs right there. But this is the backbone. If it was on a deer, it would be your loin off a deer. Same as a cow. A cow, this would be, down here would be your T-bones, or your New York strips, toward your rib eyes, your ribs, your rib eyes. They're right here. So anyway, I don't know if that helps you or not, but
Sure it does.
we're going to pull this back strap out, just like so. We just continue to work it out. It's boneless now. Any scraps, your dog will be glad to help you. And again, we're going to come to the other side, and we're just going to run our knife down till we feel bone. Right along the edge of the backbone. We're just going to continue to try to roll that meat away from the bone. And just take your knife, feel those rib bones, and work your knife down the edge of the rib bone till it releases your back strap or your loin muscle. Alright, then you're left, any that you want to peel off, you can peel it off, or that you can get off, get it off. And like I say, when I'm working with 10 or 12 carcasses, you can do it with one carcass. I don't really particularly have a need for just the one carcass. But what I do is then I take all the carcasses and sometimes the front legs, and I make stock out of it. I make broth, rabbit broth.
Which would be like chicken broth.
Like chicken broth, and it's just as good, if not better, than chicken broth to me. But you can see here, you got your rib cage left and your backbone.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Don't we have some rabbit broth?
We do have some
chicken broth we can compare.
Yeah. But I'm gonna set this over here right now, and we're gonna lay our 2 back straps, our 2 little tenderloins, and our 2 sides of bacon right here to the side. Alright, and I'll show you in just a minute what I'm gonna do with all of it. But now, on your hind leg, right here, is just like the hind leg of any animal. You got 5 muscles in it, basically. that you want to save or keep. You know, but really, all I want to tell you about the rabbit is just follow the bone. You can feel it with your knife. The bone runs straight to the kneecap and then up to the hip where we disconnected it at the hip. You just take your knife, feel for your bone. See, I'm beginning to expose it right there. And we're going to just expose that rabbit bone very carefully. Work around the joint, the hip, where it connected to the hip.
You gotta hold the bone now, don't you?
Ball and socket, yep. Get a hold of the bone. And then you can just very gently work your knife, feeling for the bone, you know, until you bring and take the thigh meat off. Now usually you can see right here, or maybe you can't, it's kind of hard to see really, but have one main artery that runs through the thigh, and I usually just take it out, lay it to the side, you know, and I got a little bitty piece of meat right here I can pull off, like so. It's like the calf muscle, your calf muscle. Anyway, these bones, here again, you can save the bones and make some stock, make some broth. Let me show you how we do that one more time. You can see the kneecap right here. Let me show you. Bending down to the foot. Foot connects right here. And right here you can see where we popped it out, ball and socket. Well, the easiest way to explain that, where you need to start, is you run from the ball and socket. See how my knife is laying to the knee? Well, if that bone should be directly beneath my knife, because it runs from that socket to this joint. And you'll see right here when I expose it, just right here. I didn't do a good job. There we go. Now you can see it. But it runs from your kneecap to the ball and socket. Let me turn it back around where you can see. And the easiest way, it's just, you got to work around the very end of it just a little bit. Be careful and soft with your knife. If you jerk it quick, you could cut yourself. But I'm just trying very gently to show you how to take this, or how I take this rabbit meat off the bone. Keep following that bone, like I said before, till you pull it out. You can pull this little muscle off right here. This may be one of the most in-depth rabbit processing videos I've ever done or ever seen done, and which is what I hope for. I really desire to show people.
And you're going to do that coming in April.
Yep, in April we'll be at Keepers of the Old Ways in Dothan, Alabama. Come out and see us, take our classes. We'll be doing a hog butchering, doing a half a hog each day. We'll be doing a rabbit and a chicken each day.
And you can get hands-on there, possibly.
Get hands-on there, you can take the classes. But here again, how beautiful is that meat. Now, like I said, the front legs, you can get a little bit off of them. Like I said, if something doesn't look desirable to me, like that little bit of, there was a little bloodshot meat right there, just take that off, discard it. You got nice clean meat. Same way with your other shoulder. It's pretty and clean. There's a little extra fat on I can take off there. What I'll do is I'll put that with my rib cage and all, boil them down, make you a couple of quarts of broth. That way the rest of the week you're gonna make chicken and rice or anything that you need some chicken broth with, you can do it. Back to our two thighs, our back straps, and our bacon. Just want to show you, I was thinking about doing some rabbit stir fry tonight. And so now that we already got it like we want it, take our big knife over here, makes it easier. And all I'm going to do is just strip it up. Just cut it into strips. This will do two things. This meat right here is a little tougher, but when you cut it up in small strips like that, it makes it easy to chew. So even though it's a little tough, when you cook it, and it's small enough that it will feel tender in your mouth. I know that might sound odd, but it's the truth. That meat right there is pretty tough, but when you cook that, you don't have a lot to chew through, and so it gives the appearance, makes the feel of being tender, which I guess in all actuality it is tender. So I'm just taking my rabbit now. And now if you wanted to can it, you cut it up in little pieces like this, the way I do mine. I'll take this like this and just cut it up pieces about big as my thumb and can it. That way I can make some rabbit Alfredo with some noodles and some Alfredo sauce. You can do that either. You can make homemade Alfredo sauce or buy it and store in a jar. But you can see I'm just continuing to cut those beautiful white meat strips into stir fry. And the way I make my stir fry, just simply take some olive oil, put it in a pan, saute some bell peppers and some onions, put my rabbit in there, and I like a little Tony Chachere's seasoning.
We're gonna try some
Cajun seasoning, but our good friends,
let's see,
Greg and Sheila over at Hall's Tools, they gifted us with some seasonings, and we're going to try some of Sheila's spicy seasonings on our rabbit stir fry.
let's show you.
And see, I'm cutting this, I purposely cut the thighs in two different directions, just to show you it doesn't matter as long as you get a nice strip. And like I said, I'll be putting this in a skillet after I get my onions and peppers sauteed. I'll put a little of this seasoning on it over here.
Let me show them seasoning. So there's a pepper seasoning. The next one here is a tomato basil. That's a onion and garlic. Is that right?
I think so.
Garlic and onion. And then down there is a Italian seasoning. But I'm just going to tell you, this is fermented peppers that she made. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So this is
I think
probably...
she freeze-dried them.
Yes, all of this has been freeze-dried. Well, one of them was cooked in the oven. She followed Tracy on Jess Diggett's recipe for drying it in the oven. But this right here is what I think I want on my... I think I want this on my
Alright.
fajita meat.
This is our little tiny tenderloins. I usually just split them in half. Makes two nice pieces of stir fry. Here's your two back straps. One end is, as you can tell, thicker than the other end. So what I do is I cut it in half, and I strip this small end up.
I've been married to him for 32 years, and I still don't know. I mean, I could cut up a chicken, and I could do this, but I probably wouldn't do it appropriately.
Well, it is very simple. It just takes a little practice. And remember, you're just trying to make your pieces relatively the same size. That way it cooks evenly. So I've got my fixing to have both back straps stir fried up. Like I said, we hadn't been working at this, I know, not even 10 minutes probably. With a little practice, you can get there too. I'm just cutting these back straps into pieces, and you cut them ever how you want to, but just as long as they, you're pretty much close to having them come out the same size, they're going to cook relatively the same, which is what you want. Now, man, look at that beautiful rabbit stir fry, and that would be a great, gracious plenty for me and my wife. So one rabbit easily will feed a couple. Really, you could probably make 3 meals out of that. Depending on what you do, you make a pot of rice to put your stir fry on, the way I like to do it. And like I said, you got your 2 front legs and your backbone and your hind leg bones that you can make stock out of. And I usually eat the liver and hearts. Like I said, if you have any undesirables, you know, and you got a nice sweet puppy like I do, he'll take care of them for you. Now, a lot of people say, "Ooh, that's gross. He's feeding the dog right there." Well, we love him, and he loves us, so I'm going to take care of him best I can. And so I make no apologies for my dog. He's my dog. All right, guys, we wrapping this rabbit up. We got him stir fried up, ready for supper, and I just want to encourage you. It's not hard. It's not complicated. Just watch the video a few times. Take your time. You don't have to be in any hurry. I promise you, even if you've never done it, it won't take. A rabbit will not take you 15 minutes tops to debone him and get him cut up. Like I said, the only thing about altering your cuts, the sizes or strips, is be just a matter of personal preference. What you're going to do with that meat, you know, that's entirely up to you. It doesn't hurt any way you fix it. It'll cook tender. It's young. These rabbits are not more than 2 months old, and so they're young and tender. Be absolutely delicious. Remember, a rabbit is the healthiest meat you can eat besides fish. It's lower in fat and higher in protein than chicken. You know, other than fish, rabbit's the best meat you can eat. So, but anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Any questions? And
if you have any questions or want to see any more deboning videos, I can do anything meat. I can debone anything. Doesn't matter what it is, meat-wise. And so, you know, in other words, you know, a chicken, hind leg of a pig, you know. But like I said, all that stuff we'll be covering during the Keepers of the Old Ways. And I think that's in March.
No, it's April.
April, I'm sorry. It's in
Handouts
April.
right over there.
And the handouts, we'll be saying more about that in some upcoming videos. And but I can take any ground, any ground. I can take any animal from the ground to the table. So it doesn't matter what it is. And even if you're interested in learning some of this stuff, seeing it hands-on, being hands-on with it, just contact us and let us know. And the next time we do a larger animal here on our farm, you want to be a part of that, you let us know. And if it's where we can have you out, we'd be glad to have you out and do some hands-on stuff. And we've been thinking about doing some classes here on the farm and teaching some folks. We've had some interest, some people that want to see it done, want to be hands-on. So if any of that stuff you're interested in, just leave us a comment. And whenever we have a class, or whenever we do a teaching, or we're just going to do a simple butchering one day, and we will try to contact you if it's where we can, and we'll let you know. So if you don't mind, comment, share this video, give us a like. We'd appreciate all that, you know. And remember, a simple life is a much more enjoyable life, you know. Just keep it simple. You know, this is just basic, you know, food preparation that everyone should know, especially our younger generation. I just feel so encouraged by God to teach this, especially to our younger people. So if you can share this with a younger person, you know, maybe a young lady or a young man that's coming up that likes to be in the kitchen, share this video with them, you know. Encourage them to maybe go out. If you don't raise your own rabbits, you know, you might contact us about that, and we could get you up a couple if you wanted to try them to eat before trying to raise some. They're very easy to raise, very simple, they're very quiet, you know. We can show you all that. But anyway, God bless you. Thank you for watching Perry Hill Farms. See you on the next one.
Hey guys, this is Danette. I just wanted to show you, I know Stumpy just finished up the rabbit deboning video, and we talked about our broth, so I wanted to show you the difference. Not much difference in the rabbit broth and the chicken broth. And then of course we have a jar of some store-bought meat that we boiled down and made a broth to, and I'll show you the difference of it as well. It's pretty interesting, so come on. Okay guys, Can you guess which is which between the two broths? Can you see? I probably would need to hold up a white background to give you a better idea. Do I have something that I could do white? Let's see. I do. I have a paper towel. I'll just use a paper towel. So it gives you a little bit of idea of the difference in the colors. And look at that right there. Okay. So let me tell you which is which. This would be the rabbit broth. And then this is the chicken broth that we canned. Okay, from our own raised chickens. Isn't that beautiful how rich and golden it is? How it's almost an amber color. Of course, this is the fat that you see up at the top from the animal. The rabbit has a little bit more fat than the chicken does, but there's not a whole lot of difference in the color. So where you would need chicken broth in a recipe, you could, if you just had rabbit broth, you can use. Now I want you to look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That is some canned chicken broth that I got, where I canned some chicken. And I saved the broth and put it in a jar and canned it. There's no fat in there. Look, nothing. And it's just very light and pale. It would serve a purpose, but it probably wouldn't have as much flavor as these two do. This is definitely one of the things that I love about having your chickens and your rabbits on your farm is you have a plethora of opportunities to make broth. And nothing goes to waste because we're going to get that broth off the bone and stuff like that. So I just wanted to show you that. We talked about it and just the difference in them. Thank you so much for watching us. We'll see you on the next video.